an independent panel report which says there is a prima facie a case of incompetence and misconduct against Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane, has now paved the way for her impeachment. That panel was put together after DA MP Natasha Mazzoni instituted a parliamentary process to have Mkhwebane's fitness to hold office probed. The report cites Mkhwebane as having displayed gross incompetence when dealing with investigations. Let's unpack the story now. We're joined by our senior political reporter, Ziyanda Ngcobo, in studio. Ziyanda, just taking a look at the Business Day, which is also leading with the story this morning. Yeah. It cites a whole range of issues that this report brings up. And again, these are points we've heard several times before when organizations, for example, like Freedom Under Law, have criticized Mkhwebane. The fact that she has demonstrated an overreach and an exceeding of her powers and repeated evidence of the same kind in interpretation of the law.
And this is the fundamental thing that this panel review report finds, that she ultimately didn't even learn from her mistakes. So they look at several cases. They look at the CR17 campaign, the Gordon Pillay Rogue Unit matter, the Freda Dairy Farm matter, the tax issue related to former President Jacob Zuma and his records, the GEMS report, and the SAR, the South African Reserve Bank reports. And then analyzing these various reports, this is how then the three-member panel reached the conclusion that she continuously misinterpreted the law. There were instances of overreaching and fundamentally breaching the separation of powers. And ultimately then, this is how and to quote the report directly, that there are high levels of incompetence on the part of the public protector. Just to tell you who sat on this panel, it's Justice Besan Kabinde and SC's Dumisa Ntsebeza and Johan de Waal. And so when you look at how they've done it, so they start off the report by unpacking what the role of the public protector is as per the Constitution and the powers that the public protector has. And they're it's very clear in the Constitution that the public protector, one, is one of the sort of exceptional bodies, just like the Auditor General. So they have special protection in the Constitution, but it's because of the role then that they're supposed to play in terms of, being able to investigate government affairs, which could ultimately be embarrassing. But also then they also unpack the reason why then the public protector is supposed to be of a particular caliber and stature. And so this is how the report starts off in the beginning, just unpacking the functions of the panel, the functions of the public protector within the context of the Constitution. And then you see, the report unpacking, it's very specific about defining misconduct, defining incompetence, and they define it as per the National Assembly, which is ultimately then, the arm of the state that needs to deal with whether or not the public protector should be impeached.
I mean, for you to talk about some of the cases that have come under question when it comes to decisions by Busisiwe Mkhwebane, it's too many. You've listed, if perhaps it happens once or twice, fine, but the list that you were giving went way beyond 5. And the fact that even the Freda Dairy Farm project, which you also listed, was declared by the High Court in Pretoria as unconstitutional. And we find that in preparing her report on that project, Busisiwe Mkhwebane at the time didn't speak to even the people involved.
And this is exactly one of the 4 pillars of Natasha Mazzoni's, request. When she made this request to have this panel review constituted, she spoke specifically then about this Freda Dairy Farm project, which the panel found that there was, she altered the final report in this particular matter, and that she gave the premier who was implicated the ability to determine who were the transgressors in that particular matter. And so that's how the report is very detailed in how it reached its findings. That's the one aspect. Then the report also finds that there's prima facie evidence of misconduct on her part in relation to the CR17 accounts, and that, you know, her meeting with the Reserve Bank matter, I should say, that she failed to disclose that she met with the president and members of the state security, and they're saying that's gross misconduct in terms of how she's supposed to carry out her functions, because if you look at the Public Protector Act, which the report also touches on, she's meant to conduct herself in a manner that is fair, that's not biased, and that is without prejudice. And so in that particular matter, they're saying her failure to disclose then her meeting with state security agents is also a gross misconduct. On the issue of incompetence on the part of the public protector, they say there's prima facie evidence, as I've said, of high levels of incompetence when it comes to her adverse findings, including overreaching and the bounds of exceeding the bounds of her powers in the Constitution and misinterpreting the law, in particular when it comes to the CR7